Scorpio, something unexpected is falling on you right now, and it's not water. It's a divine flood of wealth, love, and destiny. A shocking message is about to arrive, and what follows is a storm of blessings you didn't see coming. Tell me, if a message appeared on your phone today and said, "You've just received a life-changing amount of money," would you believe it was a miracle or dismiss it as coincidence? Take a moment. Breathe. Because if your heart fluttered at the thought, then you're exactly where you're meant to be. You didn't stumble upon this video by accident. You were brought here gently but precisely by divine timing. This message, today, was written into your timeline long before you pressed play. Scorpio, welcome to Miracle of the Sign. Here, we don't just read horoscopes. We reveal soul contracts, decode celestial whispers, and anchor spiritual truth into your everyday life. And today, I want you to know something powerful. The universe isn't testing you. It's about to reward you. Between September 27th and 30th, a rare alignment of the full moon in Pisces, Jupiter's expansive blessing, and Uranus whispering change into Mercury's ear. Something sacred is unfolding in your chart. Whether it's a legal settlement, a long-awaited contract, a financial approval, or an unexpected breakthrough, this message will arrive suddenly. And when it does, it won't just deposit money into your life, it will unlock a new frequency of freedom. But that's not all. There's someone in your life, someone who has loved you through your winters. Someone who prayed for your rising even when you were quiet. When this miracle comes, their joy will be louder than yours. They'll hold you. They'll cry. They'll say, "I knew this moment would find you." That, Scorpio, is what spiritual partnership looks like. And for some of you, that person is about to enter. For others, they've been walking quietly beside you all along. This is not just a week of good luck. This is a divine checkpoint, a reset in your soul's abundance timeline. And I'm not here just to entertain you. I'm here to walk you back to yourself. So pause with me. Listen closely. There is something only your spirit will recognize in this moment. And if you're feeling that quiet inner yes, if you've been waiting for a confirmation, a sign from the heavens that it's your turn, that the struggle hasn't been in vain, this is it. Type it in the comments now. I am ready to receive what is already mine. Speak it. Write it. Anchor it into this moment. That's how you activate the energy. And before we move forward, let me take a moment to thank you deeply for being here. Every like, every comment, every subscription you share doesn't just support Miracle of the Sign, it anchors this message in the collective. You are a living light in this spiritual family. And believe me, Scorpio, you're going to want to stay with me until the very last second today, because what the universe is about to unveil is nothing short of extraordinary. Now, tell me, what force brought you here today? What part of you whispered, "Click play"? Let's begin. Scorpio, between September 27th and 30th, the universe isn't simply shifting stars, it's shifting your frequency. The full moon's glow illuminates your financial sector just as expansive Jupiter whispers, "It's time." When these cosmic giants align, it's not about luck, it's about spiritual ripening. What you planted in silence, those invisible prayers, the unwavering effort, the quiet hours where you chose faith over fear, they have not been forgotten. The universe keeps perfect records, and during this transit, the spiritual ledger of your labor starts to clear. What felt blocked may suddenly open. What was pending may now be released. And what seemed delayed may arrive not just on time, but in abundance. You might receive a message you've been waiting for, something that changes the way you breathe. A court ruling. A job offer. A long-lost payment. A green light. A yes after many not yet s. You may be tempted to call it luck. But luck is random. This is reward. It may come like a downpour, a sudden message, a surprising deposit, an unexpected approval. It might feel as if the heavens poured a bucket of water over your life. But what's falling on you now isn't water, it's gold. And if you're open enough to feel that in your body right now, then you already know. This was never random. It's not just about money. It's about energy being returned. It's the vibrational harvest of every moment you said, "I'll trust the process," even when everything told you to give up. I want you to imagine this moment like standing under a waterfall, not cold, not overwhelming, but cleansing. This is divine replenishment. Financial blessings that arrive in this energy are not just solutions theories, sacred reminders that you are seen, supported, and surrounded by higher order. And maybe, you've been taught to brace for bad news. Maybe you've waited so long, you stopped expecting it to work out. Maybe hope began to rust inside you. If that's true, let this moment be different. Let this be the day you allow the floodgates of abundance to open and not flinch. Let yourself say, "I receive this. I deserve this. I remember now who I am." In astrology, Jupiter doesn't give halfway gifts. It multiplies what is aligned. So if you've been aligning not perfectly, but honestly, or not just getting paid, you're getting proof. You're getting momentum. You're getting restoration. What's more, this moment doesn't demand action. It asks for permission. Permission for good things to happen. Permission for life to get lighter. Permission for the energy of barely getting by to transform into the experience of overflow. You've earned that shift. Sometimes, we block the very blessings we've prayed for, because we don't recognize the shape they take when they arrive. So if what comes to you this week feels too big, too soon, or too good, I invite you to breathe and say, "I accept." Not with fear. Not with guilt. With grace. This is the point in the story where something changes. Not through force, but through divine alignment. A door is opening not because you pushed it, but because you stayed near it in faith. You waited. You trusted. And now, it swings wide. This week is not about miracles dropping from the sky. It's about miracles growing roots in the soil of your persistence. And if no one told you this before, let me be the one to say it now: you are worthy of sudden blessings. You are ready for accelerated good. And you don't have to prove anything else. There's a reason the flood comes now, not before. You're finally strong enough to hold the gold that's been waiting for you all along. Scorpio, type this in the comments to seal the moment: I am ready to receive the divine overflow. Let it be a prayer, a declaration, an energetic signature that tells the universe you're open. Because this part of the journey is not about striving. It's about surrender. And in surrender, the highest form of success is born. Scorpio, when the blessings you've been waiting for finally arrive, It won't just be your life that changes, it will stir something deep in someone else's soul too. There is a person in your orbit whose spirit has quietly been tethered to yours for longer than you realize. Someone who, even in your silence, has been speaking your name in their heart. Someone who may have watched you endure the storm without ever asking for shelter. And now, as the winds shift in your favor, their heart is about to break wide open, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming joy of watching you receive what you've always deserved. This isn't about a romantic cliché or a surface-level connection. This is about soul recognition. When the abundance begins to flow, whether through a financial breakthrough, a life opportunity, or a long-awaited yes, this person will feel it just as deeply as you do. They may not have lived your battles, but somehow, they've carried the weight of your prayers alongside you. And when your moment arrives, it will feel like their victory too. You'll know who I'm talking about. Because they'll be the one who doesn't just congratulate you, they'll hold you. They'll weep with you. They'll whisper, "I always knew this day would come." And they won't say it to claim your light. They'll say it because they've always seen Idavan in your darkest nights. In astrology, deep soul companions often emerge when transits pass through the 4th and 8th houses, the realms of emotional depth, shared karma, and transformation. And during times when Jupiter or Neptune activate your chart, those long silent threads between hearts are often pulled taut. That's the energy now. The wind you're about to experience doesn't just belong to you, it echoes through the sacred space between you and them. And in that echo, something long held finally releases. This person could be someone you've known for years. Or they could be a soul that's just now entering your reality, arriving at the perfect time, not to rescue you, but to celebrate you. They recognize your scars not because they caused them, but because they carry their own. Their empathy doesn't come from pity, it comes from knowing. And in their presence, you feel what it means to be fully seen. We often think healing is a solo journey. But sometimes, healing culminates when someone else witnesses your rising. When someone can say, "I saw you fall, and now I see you fly." That kind of presence, raw, honest, unshakable, is more than love. It's grace in human form. And maybe, as you're hearing this, there's someone already coming to mind. A friend who never left. A partner who never stopped believing. A soul you haven't met yet, but feel with unexplainable certainty. Whoever they are not just a witness to your journey, they are woven into the fabric of it. So take a moment now and feel into that space. Let yourself soften. Let your defenses drop. Let the armor you've worn fall away just enough to allow this connection, this mirror of your growth, to reflect the love you've been cultivating inside yourself all along. And if someone comes to mind right now, someone you know has held space for your healing, type their name in the comments below. Or simply write, "Thank you for walking with me." Not just for them, but to send a signal to the universe that you recognize the souls who show up when it matters most. Because sometimes, the most powerful form of abundance isn't money or status, it's being seen through eyes that never stopped believing in your worth. And that, Scorpio, is a miracle just as sacred as the gold that's on its way to you. Scorpio, after everything you've walked through, after the breakdowns, the sacred silences, and the long nights where the moon was your only witness, it might feel strange to receive something gentle. But the universe, in its divine rhythm, is preparing to soften you. Not because you are broken, but because you are finally open. There is an invitation on its way to you now. Not just any invitation. This one is wrapped in intentionality. It comes from someone who has seen your walls and chooses to knock anyway. Someone who isn't intimidated by your intensity, but drawn to it. Someone who has been quietly preparing the space for you, setting the table, choosing the lighting, creating a moment so curated, so tender, it could only have been orchestrated by a soul who speaks your language without needing translation. In the tarot, the Page of Cups signals the beginning of something sweet. A message of affection. A surprise that carries emotion in its hands. The star reminds us that this sweetness isn't random, it's connected to hope you once whispered into the void, a wish you may have even forgotten. And the Three of Cups. It tells us joy is coming not alone, but in company. There is a celebration near, not just with someone, but because of someone who sees you as worth celebrating. Maybe this is a first date. Maybe it's a reconnection. Maybe it's the moment you say yes to the possibility that love doesn't always have to come with fire and chaos. Sometimes, it arrives like warm rain on skin that thought it forgot how to feel. In numerology, the number 6 is the sacred pulse of balance, harmony, and unconditional love. It speaks to relationships that nourish, not deplete. That reflect, not distort. That build, not break. This is not the kind of love that asks you to shrink. It's the kind that invites your soul to stretch and exhale. And yet, it's okay if part of you flinches when kindness gets close. Trauma teaches us to expect impact, even in peace. If your heart feels guarded, that's not failure. That's memory. And memory doesn't need to be erased, it just needs to be rewritten. Slowly. Gently. One safe connection at a time. So here's something you can do tonight. Take out a piece of paper. Light a candle if you'd like. And write this down: I am ready to feel again. I am ready to let love arrive. I am ready to receive what is already mine. Not because I am perfect, but because I am present. Let this be your soft ritual. Your small revolution. Your personal permission slip to let something real find its way to you. Because while the stars may guide timing, it is your openness that invites the encounter. You are not being tested anymore. You are being invited. And the question is not whether love is possible. The question is, can you hold it when it knocks? If you already feel this energy approaching, if someone has come to mind as you're hearing this, type it in the comments. Or write, I am open to love without fear. Let it be a public whisper into the universe, a sign that you're not just hoping. You're ready. Because the door is unlocked, Scorpio. And someone is walking toward it with their hands full of light just for you. Scorpio, the more your light begins to glow from within, the more visible you become. Not just to those who celebrate you, but also to those who do not understand the cost of your glow. As your life begins to shift through blessings, through breakthroughs, through a renewed sense of purpose, you may start to feel a subtle tension in the air. A glance that lingers a little too long. A silence that feels heavier than usual. A presence that doesn't rejoice with you the way you expected. What you're sensing isn't your imagination. Sometimes, when your energy expands, it reflects back to others the places they feel small. And while your light is not an offense, it can still trigger what someone hasn't yet healed in themselves. The truth is, not everyone who watches you rise is clapping. Some are quietly asking, why not me? Some are measuring their timeline against yours. And others, they carry a wound that sees your abundance as a reminder of what they believe they lack. But here's the truth I need you to remember: their reaction is not your responsibility. When the universe begins to pour into your life, you are not required to explain it, shrink for it, or apologize for it. You are only required to receive it with integrity. What someone else chooses to feel when they witness your joy is not a reflection of your worth, it's a mirror to their own inner dialogue. And the most powerful thing you can do in those moments is hold your light steady. You don't need to dim your shine to make someone else comfortable. But you also don't need to retaliate, defend, or fix. You simply stand in your truth, knowing that envy is not a personal attack, it's often a silent cry for help from a soul that has forgotten its own light. In energetic terms, comparison is the symptom of disconnection. When someone is deeply connected to their own path, they don't need to measure yours. So when you sense that someone is watching from the shadows, not to support, but to question, choose to stay anchored in your grace. Let your success be a reminder that expansion is possible. Not just for you, but for anyone willing to do the work. If this dynamic feels familiar to you, if you can already sense who this person might be, you don't need to call them out. You don't need to protect your blessings from them. What you can do quietly, powerfully, is send them compassion. Not pity. Not superiority. But a sincere, invisible blessing. Take 2 minutes tonight. Close your eyes. Visualize that person in front of you not as your critic, but as a soul who forgot their own worth. Imagine your light gently touching theirs, not to erase their shadows, but to remind them that they still have one too. Say nothing aloud. But in your heart, whisper, "May you remember who you are." This small act doesn't just free them, it frees you. It keeps you from absorbing energy that doesn't belong to you. And it teaches your nervous system that your expansion is safe. That you don't need to armor up every time someone misunderstands your glow. Because your light, Scorpio, is not accidental. It's earned. It's sacred. And it's not here to intimidate you, it's here to inspire. If you felt the sting of envy around you lately, or sensed someone watching your blessings with bitterness instead of joy, write this in the comments: I remain in my light. Let it be a declaration. A boundary. A reminder that you do not need to shrink for anyone's comfort, nor carry what isn't yours. Keep shining. Keep receiving. And trust whoever is meant to rise with you, will. Scorpio, when you begin to rise in vibration, the past often echoes back not as punishment, but as a quiet question. Are you sure you're ready to let go? Sometimes it's a message from someone you thought you'd already released. A voice that once made your heart flutter, now sounding strangely unfamiliar. They may call. They may text. They may try to remind you of what was. But when you hear from them this time, something inside you feels still. Not cold, not angry, just certain. Certain that you're not the same person who once craved their validation. What's happening here isn't rejection. It's recalibration. You're not pushing them away from a place of bitterness, you're simply standing in the new frequency of who you've become. Their energy no longer fits the architecture of your healing. Their story no longer matches the rhythm of your evolution. And while a part of you might feel guilty for not responding with the same softness, I want to remind you, not all reconnections are meant to last. Some are meant to show you just how far you've come. You're not wrong for moving forward. You're not heartless for saying no. You're wise for honoring the difference between history and alignment. There's a version of you that would have gone back. That would have hoped they'd changed. That would have romanticized the past into something sacred. But now, you trust what your body tells you. And your body knows where you're going, that energy cannot follow. So let yourself close the door gently. Not with anger. Not with fear. With grace. Let this be the chapter where you choose peace over pattern, truth over nostalgia. Speak this into the space between you. I release you with love, and I choose myself again. Let it be your seal of completion. At the same time, there is movement, literal movement pulling at your spirit. Mars stirs your chart now, waking up the sectors that govern travel, relocation, and freedom. You may suddenly feel the urge to go somewhere, leave town, shift your scenery, or simply step away from the noise. Maybe you'll pack a bag and escape for a few days. Maybe you'll move furniture, shift your space, or even sign a new lease. Or perhaps, someone you live with will leave for a while, and in that silence, something remarkable happens. You remember who you are when no one else is watching. There's a kind of sacred freedom that only solitude offers. A return to your natural rhythm. An invitation to live without adjusting yourself for someone else's energy. These little pockets of time when the world feels quieter are not empty. They are filled with your presence. And in that presence, you heal. If this time alone finds you, let it be a sanctuary, not a sentence. Use it well. Wake up and breathe deeply. Spend 5 minutes in stillness before the world enters. Write down 3 things you're grateful for each night before bed. Let your gratitude anchor you, and your breath guide you. If it feels right, ask within, what do I need to restore my spirit? The answers may not come in words, but they will arrive in feeling, in softness, in clarity. This is the part of your story where nothing dramatic needs to happen. No declarations. No explosions. Just quiet alignment. Just soul-level decisions that whisper, I'm ready for what's next. Because what's next, Scorpio, is already arriving. The energy between September 27th and 30th is both gentle and powerful. The full moon in Pisces on the 29th calls your intuition to the surface. It's a peak moment for emotional release, but also a gateway into elevated clarity. Venus, resting in Virgo, reminds you that love is not only expressed in grand gestures, it's built in quiet devotion, in thoughtful actions, in showing up. And Mercury's harmonious trine with Uranus brings messages out of nowhere, downloads, signs, and perhaps even offers you didn't expect. In numerology, the numbers 9, 8, and 4 walk beside you now. 9 for completion and spiritual resolution. 8 for wealth, not just in money, but in self-worth. And 4 for structure, for safety, for the calm knowing that you are being held. Your lucky colors this week: deep ocean blue and golden amber, aren't just visual cues. They're frequencies. Blue calms the nervous system, aligns your throat chakra, and helps you speak your truth. Gold amplifies your magnetism and reminds you that you are worthy of every beautiful thing you are calling in. So as you close one door and walk toward a new horizon, remember, nothing is being taken from you. You are simply being freed from what can no longer meet your truth. Let your life expand. Let your feet wander. Let your heart remain open. And if any part of you still wonders whether you're allowed to move forward without apology, write this in the comments now. I give myself full permission to rise. Then, take one step. The next path is already waiting. Scorpio, the truth is you don't have to chase the miracle. Because the miracle is already chasing you. It knows your name. It knows your heart. It knows the exact moment to arrive. And when it does, it won't feel chaotic or confusing. It will feel like home. This isn't just a forecast. It's a remembrance. A remembering of everything your soul already knew, but may have forgotten in the noise of life. That you are not here by accident. That every season of delay, every tear, every silent prayer was watering something sacred. And now, the bloom begins. That bucket of water the universe is about to pour over you. It's not meant to drown you. It's meant to cleanse everything that isn't aligned with your next level. And what fills that golden flood is everything you've been preparing for in silence. See an unexpected message that transforms your financial landscape, a soul companion who celebrates your rise like their own, an invitation to love that feels safe and real, and the return of your personal freedom through movement, solitude, or sacred rest. You didn't earn this because you were perfect. You are receiving this because you remained faithful even when you were tired. And that is the vibration that magnetizes true abundance. So before we close, I want to ask you something tender, something powerful. Can you feel it coming? Can you feel the shift already in motion? The soft unraveling of what no longer fits? The silent building of something better than you imagined? If you feel it, even a little, type it below. I am ready to receive the miracle meant for me. Let those words be a contract between you and the divine timing that has never failed you. Because the path forward isn't about pushing harder. It's about aligning deeper. Trusting softer. Letting yourself believe that you are worthy of ease, joy, love, and overflow, not someday, but now. Thank you, from the depths of my spirit, for being here with me on Miracle of the Sign. Your presence matters more than you know. Every like, every comment, every subscription you offer is more than a digital gesture. It's a ripple of energy that helps this light reach more souls who are quietly praying for it. So if this message touched you, if even one sentence opened something inside you, I invite you to like this video, subscribe to Miracle of the Sign, and share it with someone whose heart needs reminding that they, too, are seen. You are not late. You are not behind. You are right on time. Now, take one breath. And let the miracle meet you halfway.